Brought to you by WikiVidi documentaries. Neighbours. Neighbours is an Australian television soap opera. It was first broadcast on the 7 network on the 18th of March 1985. It was created by TV executive Reg Watson, who proposed the idea of making a show that focused on realistic stories and portrayed adults and teenagers who talk openly and solve their problems together. 7 decided to commission the show following the success of Watson's Sons and Daughters, which aired on the network. Although successful in Melbourne, Neighbours underperformed in the Sydney market and struggled for months before 7 cancelled it. The show was immediately bought by rival network 10. After taking over production of the show, the new network had to build replica sets, because 7 destroyed the originals to prevent its rival from obtaining them. 10 began screening Neighbours on the 20th of January 1986, beginning where the previous series left off and commencing with episode 171. Neighbours has since become the longest-running drama series in Australian television, and in 2005, it was inducted collectively into the Logie Hall of Fame. The show's storylines concern the domestic and professional lives of the people who live and work in Erinsborough, a fictional suburb of Melbourne, Victoria. The series primarily centres on the residents of Ramsay Street, a short cul-de-sac, and its neighbouring area, the Lassiter's complex, which includes a bar, hotel, cafe, police station, lawyer's office and park. Neighbours began with 3 families created by Watson: the Ramsays, the Robinsons and the Clarks. Watson said that he wanted to show 3 families who are friends living in a small street. The Robinsons and the Ramsays had a long history and were involved in an ongoing rivalry. Pin Oak Court, in Vermont South, is the real cul-de-sac that has doubled for Ramsay Street since 1985. All of the houses featured are real, and the residents allow the production to shoot external scenes in their yards. The interior scenes are filmed at the Global Television Studios in Forest Hill. Through its entire run in Australia, Neighbours has been screened as a 22-minute episode each weeknight in an early evening slot. Neighbours moved to 10's digital channel 11 on the 11th of January 2011, and it is currently broadcast each weeknight at 6:30 p.m. The show is produced by Fremantle Media Australia, and has been sold to over 60 countries around the world, making it one of Australia's most successful media exports. Neighbours was first screened in the United Kingdom in October 1986 on BBC One, where it achieved huge popularity among British audiences in the late 1980s and 1990s. In 2008, it moved to the UK's Channel 5. From 2018, the show will become the first Australian drama to air all year round. History. Neighbours was created in the early to mid-1980s by Australian TV executive Reg Watson. Watson decided to create a soap opera after working on Crossroads and seeing how successful it and Coronation Street were in Britain. He had already created such successful Australian-made soap operas as The Young Doctors, Prisoner and Sons and Daughters. Watson proposed the idea of making a show that would focus on more realistic stories and portray teens and adults who talk openly to each other and solve their problems together. Watson, who worked for the Grundy production company, decided to make his show appeal to both Australia and Britain. In 2005, Darren Devlin and Caroline Frost from the Herald-Sun reported that Watson then took his idea to the 9 network in 1982, but it was rejected. Former Network 9 chief executive Ian Johnson commented that it was one of the biggest missed opportunities in his 24 years at the network. He added, "I remember it being discussed, but I'm not exactly sure what went against it. It may have had something to do with the fact we'd picked up Sale of the Century with Tony Barber in 1980 and it was doing huge business, so we didn't have a pressing need for a 5-night-a-week show." Watson then took his idea to the 7 network, who commissioned the show. Following the success of his other 7 network soap opera, Sons and Daughters, several titles for the show were discussed, including People Like Us, One Way Street, No Through Road and Living Together, until the network programmers voted on Neighbours. The first episode was broadcast on the 18th of March 1985 and reviews for the show were favourable. However, the Melbourne-produced programme underperformed in the Sydney market, and after a meeting of the general managers, 7 decided to drop the show in October 1985. 7's Melbourne programme boss, Gary Fenton said Sydney chief Ted Thomas told the other general managers that Seven could not afford 3 dramas, and argued that the Sydney-based 8-country practice and Sons and Daughters be retained. Neighbours was immediately bought by Seven's rival network 10. The new network had to build replica sets when it took over production after Seven destroyed the original sets to prevent the rival network obtaining them. 10 began screening the series with episode 171 on the 20th of January 1986. In 1986, the series was bought by the BBC as part of their new daytime schedule in the United Kingdom. Neighbours made its debut on BBC One on the 27th of October 1986, starting with the pilot episode. It soon gained a loyal audience and the show became particularly popular with younger viewers, and before long was watched by up to 16 million viewers, more than the entire population of Australia at the time. In 1988, Neighbours became the only television show to have its entire cast flown over to the UK to make an appearance at the Royal Variety performance in front of the Queen. Neighbours has since become the longest-running drama series in Australian television and the 7th longest-running serial drama still on the air in the world. In 2005, Neighbours celebrated its 20th anniversary and over 20 former cast members returned for a special episode, which saw them sitting down to watch a documentary about Ramsay Street. At the Logie Award ceremony that year, the show was inducted into the Logie Hall of Fame. 2007 saw the show undergo a revamp, which included a switch to recording in HDTV, the introduction of a new family, the departure of several existing characters and a new version of the show's familiar theme song in opening titles. In addition, episode titles were abandoned, having been in use for the previous 3 years. Daniel Bennett, the new head of drama at Network 10, announced that the crux of the Ramsay Street story would go back to basics and follow a less sensational path than of late, with the emphasis on family relations and suburban reality. Executive producer Rick Pellizzeri said new writers, actors, and sets would bring the soap back to its glory days. He added, "We moved too far into event-driven stories rather than the character-driven stories that made Neighbours what it is." The relaunch failed to attract more viewers in Australia. Pellizzeri left the series at the end of 2007 and former Neighbours scriptwriter, Susan Bauer, became the new executive producer. In 2008, Neighbours was branded too white by Black and Asian viewers in Britain, and in Australia there was talk of a White Australia policy when it came to casting actors for soaps. In response to the criticism, Bauer made a decision to add more ethnically diverse extras, small walk-on roles and speaking parts, as well as introducing the character of Sunny Lee, an exchange student from South Korea. On the 18th of March 2010, Neighbours celebrated its 25th anniversary. In April, Channel 5 in the UK launched a search to find a female actress to play the part of Poppy Rogers. The search was similar to the Dolly magazine competition in Australia. August saw Neighbours air its 6,000th episode. Digital Spy revealed that the week-long 6,000th episode celebrations would see the wedding of regular characters, Donna Friedman and Ringo Brown. It was later announced that an attempt on the life of long-term regular, Paul Robinson, would be the focus of the actual 6,000th episode. Bauer said, "Last week I saw episode 6,000. This marks Australian television history. The 6,000th episode falls on a Friday, so the whole week is a special one. As Stefan Denner's Paul Robinson was in the first episode 25 years ago. It was decided that his character play a most important role in this very special event." In late 2010, TV Tonight reported that Neighbours would reduce crew operations in 2011 so production could be upgraded. The changes meant that the location manager and catering team were no longer required, studio shoots would be reduced from 3 cameras to 2, and location shots will be mainly confined to the Ramsay Street and Lassiter's complex sets, with occasional filming in one-off places. Of the changes, Fremantle Media said, "Neighbours is undergoing a workflow upgrade to accommodate advances in technology and production techniques, to ensure we are at the forefront of professionalism and efficiency." They added that the show's production model had been in place since 1985, and that it was time to evolve it. On the 14th of March 2011, The Australian reported that Neighbours has become the first television show available to watch on a free iPhone application. Viewers are able to watch whole episodes within 3 hours of them airing on 11. Nick Spooner, the head of 10 Digital Media, said, "This is part of what we call our three-screen approach: broadcast, online and mobile, and it is intended to build viewer engagement with the show and our brand. This is a way for us to stay in touch with our audience and to keep them coming back." To celebrate the wedding of Prince William of Wales and Kate Middleton, Neighbours filmed a specially commissioned scene for the UK episode airing on the same day as the wedding. The episode, which had already aired in Australia, marked the first time an Australian show recorded extra scenes for a UK broadcaster. On the 25th of October 2011, it was announced Bauer would be leaving Neighbours in December 2011 to move into a new international role with Fremantle Media. Of her departure, Bauer told Colin Vickery of the Herald Sun, "I love Neighbours, it is a wonderful show, and, because of this, I felt it was important that fresh eyes and brains take over to keep this Australian icon contemporary. Having said that, I'm really excited about the new role and thank Fremantle Media for this wonderful opportunity." Former City Homicide producer Richard Yosek took over Bauer's role, while Alan Hardy took over the role of producer. On the 4th of December 2013, it was confirmed that Yosek would be leaving Neighbours and Jason Herbison had been promoted to series producer. Fremantle Media's head of drama Joel Porter became executive producer, while Lawrence Wilson became the associate producer. The show celebrated its 7,000th episode on the 24th of October 2014. In March 2015, Neighbours celebrated its 30th anniversary, and 12 former cast members returned for the anniversary episodes that revolved around an Erinsborough festival. Network 10 and Channel 5 aired a documentary special titled Neighbours 30th, The Stars Reunite, which featured interviews with current and former cast members, including Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, and Guy Pearce, reflecting on their time on the show. Natalie Lynch succeeded Wilson as producer in early 2016. Setting: Neighbours' main focus is the fictional Ramsay Street, a residential cul-de-sac in the fictional Melbourne suburb of Erinsborough. The street was named after the grandfather of original character Max Ramsay. Other locations include Erinsborough High School, a garage, hospital, and the Lassiter's Complex, which contains the Lassiter's Hotel, Waterhole Bar, Harold's Store Cafe, the lawyer's office Rebecca Law, and the police station. Ahead of the 25th anniversary, the Erinsborough village set underwent a makeover. The cafe and bar remained the same, but the centre of the complex was upgraded. Lassiter's Hotel was given a new logo and gained a second floor with outdoor seating area. The hospital and police station received new facades. A used car lot was created near the garage and a new university set was created. Pin Oak Court, in Vermont South, is the real cul-de-sac that doubles for Ramsay Street. All of the houses featured in the show are real, and the residents allow Neighbours to shoot external scenes in their front and backyards and on occasions, in their garages. Neighbours has been filmed in Pin Oak Court since the series began in 1985, and it has since become popular with tourists. Tours to the cul-de-sac run throughout the year. The interior scenes are filmed at the Global Television Studios in Forest Hill, the adjoining suburb in which Pin Oak Court is located. Through much of the show's run, it was not stated in which Australian city Erinsborough was located. The rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne meant that scripts did not mention that Erinsborough was a suburb of the latter city, until 1994. Since the 2000s, it has been explicitly stated that Erinsborough is a suburb of Melbourne. Since 2016, the show has begun filming more scenes in and around the city. Other Australian locations mentioned and sometimes seen in the series include the fictitious suburbs of West Waratah, Eden Hills, and Anson's Corner. Real-life Australian towns in the state of Victoria such as Colac, Frankston and Shepparton are sometimes referred to. Oakey in Queensland is also mentioned and sometimes seen. On the 27th of August 2010, Neighbours filmed scenes in Sydney's Darling Harbour and on board a cruise ship. The episodes marked only the third time that the show has filmed scenes outside of Victoria. In October 2011, Neighbours filmed scenes in Port Douglas, Queensland and around the Great Barrier Reef region. 2 storylines were filmed in Geelong and the Gold Coast in 2016. Filming locations outside of Australia have included Kenya, the United States and the UK, which has seen Neighbours episodes filmed there on 4 occasions. In February 1990, Lyme Park in Cheshire doubled as the Ledgerwood estate set in Yorkshire. Derek Nimmo guest starred as the fictitious Lord Ledgerwood in 2 of the episodes. In November 1992, the characters Rick Alessi and Debbie Martin visited London to attend a Michael Jackson concert. The second London-based storyline was broadcast in late March 2007, when Susan and Carl Kennedy were seen taking a ride on the London Eye and being married on a boat on the River Thames. A new storyline shot in the UK aired in March 2017, and another will air in 2018. Broadcasting. Through its entire run in Australia, Neighbours has been screened as a 21-minute episode each weeknight in an early evening slot. Neighbours is on air for approximately 44 weeks per year. It is broadcast from early January to early December and goes off air for around 4 to 5 weeks during the Christmas and New Year period. The show currently airs at 6:30 p.m. on 11. The last 5 aired episodes shown are available to watch on the Neighbours official Australian website, as a part of Network 10's catch-up TV service. 11 also broadcast the last 5 aired episodes shown in an omnibus edition each Sunday. When the show began in 1985, the first season was broadcast on the 7 network, at 5:30 p.m. in Sydney, at 6 p.m. in Melbourne and Adelaide and at 7 p.m. in Brisbane. The show's transmission in other areas was varied and many regional channels declined to purchase the series. When the show debuted on Network 10 in 1986, it screened at 7 p.m. In 1992 the show moved to 6:30 p.m. to avoid direct competition from rival soap opera Home and Away on the 7 network. Repeat episodes of Neighbours episodes from the 1988-1991 period were broadcast between 2000 and June 2003 on Network 10. These episodes were seen at 3:30 p.m., before moving to 11:30 a.m. During 2008, 10 HD broadcast the previous week's episodes in an omnibus edition each Sunday. These omnibus editions did not return in 2009 as 10 HD was replaced by 1 HD from March 2009. In August 2010, the Daily Telegraph reported that Neighbours would be moving to 10's new digital channel, to make way for a new current affairs show. They said, "It's part of a rebranding of 10's free-to-air channel, targeting the older demographic. The younger shows, like Neighbours, will go on to one of 10's digital channels." It was later confirmed that the show would be moving to digital channel 11. Network 10's programmer, David Mott said, "We believe Neighbours is perfectly suited to 11's audience strategy and will find a successful and enduring home on 11. Neighbours moved to 11 on the 11th of January 2011, the channel's launch day. Throughout 2013, 11 had broadcast repeat episodes of Neighbours from the 2007 period, titled Old School Neighbours, during weekday mornings. In 2015, Network 10 had broadcast an encore of the previous day's episode at 7 a.m. weekdays. United Kingdom. Neighbours has proved to be more popular in the United Kingdom than in Australia. It was screened on BBC One from 1986 until 2008. The series started airing on the 27th of October 1986, as part of BBC One's revamped daytime schedules. Neighbours went out twice a day, with a morning broadcast, and then a showing at lunchtime. Michael Grade, the channel's then controller, was advised by his daughter to move the series to 5:35 p.m, as she and her friends kept missing it due to them being at school, which took place from January 1988. The show then started attracting larger audiences, peaking in 1990 at over 21 million. Towards the late 2000s, Neighbours was normally attracting an average of 3 million viewers for its lunchtime showing and 2.6 million viewers for its early evening repeat. It was frequently the highest-rating daytime program in the UK, outside of news bulletins. In 2008, the UK broadcast moved to rival channel Channel 5 following the BBC's decision not to keep the show after being asked to pay £300 million over 8 years by Fremantle Media. Both Channel 5 and Fremantle Media were owned at that time by the German Artel Group. The first episode to be shown on Channel 5 in February 2008 was watched by 2.2 million viewers, a drop of 300,000 from the BBC's average. However, the move boosted Channel 5's usual share for the 5:30 p.m. slot by 3.5 times. On the 4th of February 2009, Neighbours' 5:30 p.m. showing was seen by 1.94 million viewers, and by 2012, the tea time showing had averaged 1 million viewers. UK viewers are able to catch up with episodes with Channel 5's video catch-up service, Demand 5, similar to the catch-up service in Australia. Channel 5 also have a deal with YouTube, allowing viewers to watch episodes for free on the video sharing site after they have been transmitted. From the 4th of January 2016, Channel 5 began broadcasting episodes on the same day as Australia. Channel 5's commissioning editor Greg Barnett explained that closing the transmission gap would reduce spoilers and the number of viewers watching the show illegally online. From mid-2016, the show also began airing every weeknight on Nickelodeon as part of their Nick at Night programming block, broadcasting the same episode that was earlier seen on Channel 5. In March 2017, it was reported that negotiations to continue Neighbours on Channel 5 had become very fraught, and it was possible that the show could stop airing in Britain. The following month, it was reported that a deal had been reached between Fremantle Media and Channel 5, keeping the show on British television for at least another 4 years. On the 9th of October 2017, Stuart Clark of Variety reported that Channel 5 and Fremantle Media had agreed a new deal that would see episode production increased from 240 to 258, as well as plan for new primetime specials. The deal means that from 2018 Neighbours will run all year round and through the winter for the first time in its history. Herbison stated, "We value our global audiences and are delighted to stay on this journey together. Come the end of 2018 we will also make history by becoming the first Australian drama series to screen all year round." Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?